In this video, we're going to be talking about the chi-square test, specifically to perform a chi-square test for association with the use of Minitab. So we have here a question. An opinion poll was done on a public survey of a simple random sample of 1,000 voters. Respondents were classified by voting preferences, which is the Liberal Party, the Democratic Party, and the Independent Party, and by gender, which is male and female. Results are shown in the contingency table below. So the question is there a gender gap? Do the men's voting preferences differ significantly from the women's preferences? Use a 0.05 level of significance. So one thing to be certain is that chi-square tests use a contingency table. So in this question, we all know that this is a chi-square test because it is stated that it uses a contingency table. But what kind of chi-square test are we going to use? We're going to use a chi-square test for association because we need to determine whether the two variables are associated with each other or not. So let's head over to our Minitab and input the data from the contingency table to the worksheet. So now that we've inputted the data from our contingency table to our worksheet, I'm now going to show you guys how to use Minitab in solving a chi-square test for association. First, you're going to click on Stat, and then hover on Tables, and click on chi-square test for association. From here, you're going to have to click on the arrow down box and click on Summarize Data in a two-way table. And then from here, you're going to click on Columns containing the table, which is your voting preferences. So you're just going to click and select one by one, or just simply hit Control and select all three of them, because that's the more easier way. So next is, we need to put the labels on our table. So I generally put labels for me to understand what I have on my table, but it's optional for you guys to put it. So we're going to click on rows and select gender, and we're going to name our columns as voting preferences. And after that, we're going to click on statistics and check each cell's contribution to chi-square, and then hit OK and hit OK again. So now we have our table. You can see here is the observed count, which is the number of observations you have in a sample, the expected count, which is the frequency of what is to be expected in a cell, and contribution to chi-square. So now going back to our question, we need to determine whether the voting preferences between male and females differ. For us to know that, we need to compare the p-value to our significance value. So if the p-value is less than the significance value, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is a significant difference between the two variables. On the other hand, if the p-value is greater than the significance value, then we fail to reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is no significant difference between the two variables. So in this case, our p-value is less than the significance value. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is a significant difference, or there is an association between the voting preferences of males and females. So is there a gender gap? Yes. So I hope that you learned something from this video, and I hope the steps are easy to understand. So feel free to comment or ask me questions in the comment box below. So thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time.